Once you've had one infection with one type of virus, then you're immune to that type, but not to the remaining 3 serotypes. Okay, so therefore, the thinking had always been that the antibody that protects is type specific. If you have a 100 antibodies, okay, and then you ask which ones of these will be protective, the instinct is to choose that one which binds only to dengue 1, but not to 2, 3, and 4, because clinically that person will still remain susceptible to 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's how most people have thought about this problem, and that's why, and it's not wrong that the rationale is you need 4 different antibodies in one cocktail to treat infection. Okay, so and I think that is still a viable option, but we wanted to think of another way of doing this. Instead of using 4 different antibodies, which means 4 times the cost and 4 times the developmental time, can we do one antibody that knocks out all dengue viruses, right? And that antibody doesn't exist in nature, because if it does, then we won't get dengue all 4 different times in our lifetime, right? So therefore, it had to be something that we have to engineer because nature doesn't produce it. This is a treatment, so it's not a vaccine where hopefully you develop lifelong immunity after you take the vaccine. So this is not a vaccine, this is a treatment. How long the treatment can last for depends on how long this antibody stays in the blood. And the answer is somewhere between 3 weeks to a month. Certainly. In some sense, it's what's the most pragmatic approach moving forward, right? It's all about, at the first part of the early phase clinical trial, is all about safety. We have to convince Health Sciences Authority, FDA, and all that this is safe, right? And so the whole rationale then is expose as few people to the drug as possible. Okay, now if you say my first application is going to be preventing people from getting dengue, then I need to put this into a lot of people to be able to see evidence that it works, right? Whereas if I put into people who already have dengue, then the numbers shrink to 20 to somewhere 50 patients. Then I can show that it works. Okay, so we think that as a first step, we'll go into patients first before we think about prevention. But you're right, it can be used as a preventative.
All of the patients have to be recruited. There has to be a clear plan for the trial before you even ask permission to do the trial.
Yeah.
And then once they give you the permission, you officially start and put it into patients.
Right.
Go from there. But it takes a good year just to build up all of the program, recruit the sites, and then put an application into the regulatory agency.
Yeah.